you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Toastmasters and guests, I've been thinking a lot lately about thinking. And it's really interesting when you think about thinking, because normally when I come to Toastmasters, I think about speaking. But this time I'm speaking about thinking. And when you're thinking about speaking about thinking, you start thinking, what am I thinking about? And eventually you get really confused and really tired of the whole process. But still, it makes you think. What is a thought? Does everybody have thoughts? I mean, I can tell you, I've had conversations with people sometimes where I've been sure there is not a thought in that person's head. But Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. Well, actually, no, he didn't. He said, je pense, donc je suis, because his name is Descartes, not Descartes. So Descartes said, je pense, donc je suis. And he translated that into Latin, because he thought Latin was more cerebral. It was the language of the sciences at the time. And in Latin it became cogito ergo sum. Or cogito? I'm blanking on it right now. Yes, cogno ergo sum, which then translates to I think, therefore I am. Its whole philosophy is really so much more than something as simple as that. But if we take it at its basis, I think, therefore I am. Is everyone here sure that they are here? If so, then you think. So I think that we all know that we all have thoughts. That means that thoughts exist. Thoughts are a thing. But do thoughts have substance? Is there something tangible to a thought? Now think about this. It must be. Because you're able to put your thoughts into something. You can't put something into something else unless it's tangible, right? You put your thoughts into a problem. You put your thoughts into a situation. Thoughts have mass. Oh, it's a pretty heavy thought right there. Thoughts have dimension. Whew. That's a deep thought. Thoughts consume like they're alive. They consume time and they consume energy. Have you ever spent a whole day just thinking? You're exhausted by the end of it. So thoughts have mass, they have dimension, they consume energy and time. So thoughts have substance. That's a great thought. Do thoughts have value? Penny for your thoughts? I know that there are times I would pay a fortune to know what my wife is thinking. And then there are times I'd pay a fortune to have her keep it to herself. So you would think that based on that thoughts have value. But I would argue that no. Thoughts on their own have no value at all. And I can point to proof to that in today's society. Just look at Facebook. You have a tragedy that happens somewhere in the world, some type of horrific disaster. What do people do? They go onto Facebook, thoughts and prayers. Do they get off their butts, get off the couches, go and help those people? Some people do. But most of them, thoughts and prayers. Do they dig into their pockets, go online and contribute with their credit cards? Do they do something to send tangible help to these people? Again, some of them do. But most people, thoughts and prayers. Now, if you're a theist, if you believe in some type of God, then it can well be argued that, you know what? Prayers are worth something. Great, I'll give that. Send me my thoughts. Thoughts without action have no value. Value only comes when you take action on the thoughts that you've had. So, thinking without action, that's dreaming. Acting without thinking, that's impulsiveness. There's nothing wrong with either of those two things, by the way. Impulsiveness. People are drawn towards impulsive people. Think about an impulsive person. They live life on the edge, and they're willing to go ahead and take that chance. And we're drawn to people like that because it's exciting. Because most of us are not that impulsive. When you're impulsive, that's when you kiss the girl. That's when you sign up for the speech. That's when you drive downtown in the rain at 9:30 on a Tuesday night just to check out the late night record store. Impulsiveness is when you stumble across a line from a Bare Naked Lady song and realize, hey, it fits into my speech, so I'm going to run with it and get it in there too. And impulsiveness, you know when you've had a problem, you've had a situation, and you've given it a lot of thought, and you don't know what to do, what do people tell you to do? They tell you to follow your gut, right? Your gut is where impulsiveness comes from. You've given all this thought to the situation, people tell you instead, be impulsive. Impulsive is a good thing, so long as you're not impulsive all the time. Dreaming. There's nothing wrong with being a dreamer. I'm a big dreamer. I have designed houses, dream houses, in my mind, on paper, on the computer, that I know will never get built, but I've done it because it's fun. I've started so many businesses, built them from the ground up, all the way, I swear, I could have written it into a business plan, gone and gotten financing with these things, but I didn't. I just did it because it was fun. Dreaming, so long as you know that you're doing it because you're dreaming, there's nothing wrong with that. Most of us live somewhere in the middle. We try to find that balance between impulsiveness and dreaming. So we give a certain thought to what it is that we're going to do. Now, I've never really had a problem with impulsiveness, although if you are friends with me on Facebook, you might realize that maybe sometimes I am a little bit too impulsive. When I make these posts against these anti-vaccine people, anti-GMO people, stuff like that, it's not when I write the post itself. I'm not being impulsive then. At that point, I'm putting all kinds of thought into it. Believe me, I write these huge essays, and I research things, and I give them facts. And that is not impulsive. The impulsive is when I click post. I'm trying to control that and get a little bit better on it. And if I give it just a moment's thought, more often than not, I delete the whole post, and I never even put it up there, and I don't regret a thing. And that way, I avoid the nutcases. So this is good. Impulsion is good, but a little bit of control is good. I used to have a problem with dreaming. I would dream too big, too much, and always treat it like it might be real. Again, there's nothing wrong with dreaming. There's nothing wrong with setting high goals, so long as you're going to take action on them. But I would set these dreams going with no intention of ever following up on them, and I would just dream. And that was a problem. I worked really hard at overcoming it, but I could never figure out quite how to express it. Until earlier this year. I was at a conference. I was actually lecturing at the conference, and I was giving a workshop on public speaking. And I met this guy by the name of Terrence. Terrence had the same problem that I did, where he would overthink. And he had this great speech that he crafted in 3 minutes. There was a 2 to 3 minute speech. He crafted it with his team, and he impressed me that day. He came up with this beautiful analogy that when you're presented with a problem that you need to solve, I'm thirsty. The first thing that you do is you brainstorm. You gather all this information together that will help to solve your problem. And then you think about it. And the problem with when you overthink is that you think, and you think, and you think. And then you just keep on thinking. And eventually, as you're thinking, you eventually realize that, hey, everything I brainstormed, it's all gone. Well, so then obviously the right thing to do now is to brainstorm and think some more. If there's any overthinkers here, you know exactly what this is like. What he discovered instead is that you need to set a boundary. You need to say, I want about that much thought to solve this solution, to solve this problem. I know how thirsty I am. This is how much I want to put in. When you don't let it overflow, you've left room for reflection, for afterthought, for consideration, or maybe even to just add a little something extra, a little something special that you get to put into your solution for the problem. And you get to then just go ahead and enjoy the solution. There's a point where thinking is bad. You don't want to overthink. You don't want to underthink. You want to hit that optimal zone of thinking. And that is what we should all be striving for when we go through this thought process of life.